All right, third book up, Raptor Red. Published in 1995, it was written by a guy named Bob Backer, who at the time, and probably still is if he's still alive, is a world-renowned paleontologist. And in the Jurassic Park movie, when Tim's chasing Grant around the cars when they're going out for the tour, and he's like blah, 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 rambling on, and then I read a book by this guy named Backer, so that's who they're talking about. So this book was written by Bob Backer, who I don't believe is an author, other than publishing probably papers on dinosaurs and shit, but not like a fiction author. It's written from the perspective of an adult Utah raptor. So the story encompasses about a year of this raptor's life, and presents along the way a number of other species, and the theories that Backer had behind these animals and their behavior and stuff like that. So it starts in Asia, and at the time of this, it took place about 120 million years ago in the early Cretaceous period. And the way the Earth was shifting, a kind of land bridge was formed between Asia and the Americas. So Utah Raptor Red, was hunting with her mate, who she hadn't reproduced yet, and they brought down a big brachiosaur type dinosaur. I forget the name, Astrodon or something like that. And as they were feeding on it, a little accident happens, and the carcass rolled on its side and pinned Raptor Red's mate under it, and then he eventually drowned in like a mud pool or something. So then she's like, shit. So she started a kind of a migration over to the Americas, and along the way picked up a familiar scent. Oh, it's my sister. And her sister's kind of a bitch. Her sister was on her own with her 3 chicks. So Raptor Red kind of fell in with them. And so it just chronicles their adventure as they move. They have to run from a flood one time. When predators move into the area, like these acrocanthosaurs, I think they're called, which are kind of like Tyrannosaurus Rex type, but not as big and fierce as them, but that kind of meat eater. And they eventually come into Utah and make their way to the coast, where they're kind of fascinated by the water, and playing too close to the surf, they come across a Kronosaurus, which is a giant meat-eating ocean-going dinosaur, and almost get devoured by it, and then use it to their advantage when they're fighting off some other predators. And eventually they head into the mountains where it's snowy and colder, and they come upon some Deinonychuses who attempt to encroach on their territory, especially after Raptor Red's sister is injured while they're trying to take down another brachiosaur type dinosaur. I forget the name of it, but it was nicknamed a whiptail because it could whip its tail really hard and fast and attack prey. Raptor Red's sister gets hit by this and eventually succumbs. And all the while, there's been a male raptor that's been trying to court Raptor Red, but it hasn't gone well because the sister is not cool with it. So eventually, after Raptor Red's sister is gone, the male comes back and they kind of form a new family unit. And in the end, one of Raptor Red's sisters, the oldest chick, eventually finds a mate and reproduces. So at the end of the book, it's kind of like this bigger raptor family that has filled out, kind of going on the prowl and living their lives kind of thing. So it doesn't really have, it's just kind of an interesting read. It doesn't really have a big conclusion, or, it's just interesting to read a story through the eyes of a raptor, and the theories that Backer presents as to the various species he represents in the book, their behavior and stuff, and the way the raptor thinks, the way it smells and takes cues from like the sense it picks up, and the thoughts that go through its head on friend, foe, like how to behave, sort of thing. So it's I have a hard time explaining it, but it's just very interesting. Now, in reading the reviews and stuff, there were some complaints from other paleontologists that they're like, I hope people don't take this as like dinosaur fact, because these are just Backer's personal theories and stuff like that. And you know what? And that's fine, right? Because nobody's ever going to know, right? Unless they actually clone dinosaurs and bring back Jurassic Park, like in the movies, we'll never know, right? So it's one thing to like get worked up about, well, that's not truth. Well, how do we know what's truth? How do we know what any of your theories are true at all, right? So you just take it for what it is, and you let people, complain about it. And the other complaint was that, his writing style isn't that great, which I understood when I'm reading it, like it was a little rough around the edges in terms of the writing style, but the guy's a paleontologist. He's not a professional writer, right? So as long as you kind of know what you're in for going into this book, you'll really enjoy it, right? I really enjoyed it. I've never seen a book written from an animal's perspective before, at least not an adult book, So it was just kind of a cool perspective and a good read. Anything dinosaur, I'm gonna eat it right up. Next up, Street Fighter 6 for PS5. What a weird game. They totally went a different direction with this. The story mode in this game, there's 3 modes. Story mode is the big one. And it's like an open world adventure. It's not just like watch some cutscenes, then do a couple fights against this character, watch a cutscene, and keep going in that way until the game's done. Totally open world. You go on these various quests. The main ones being progressing the story, but then all of these side quests along the way that give you XP, rank you up so that you gain power, you gain health, you gain defense. And basically the story at the start is you create your own character and you're training under a master named Luke, and you're training with your best friend Bosch. Eventually you're training. Luke is like, I've done all I can. Like, you should go out there and learn for yourself, meet other people. And the whole concept in this game is that you want to go out and journey and meet other people and become strong. You want to learn what it is to be strong. It's such a weird concept. And so yeah, you just traipse through the world, talk to people, unlock quests, complete quests, and in the end, the story all wraps up. Bosch re-enters the scene. You fight this guy named JP, who's kind of a corrupt guy that has done some nasty things in the past, and Bosch is out to get him. So it all culminates at this tournament that JP is hosting, and Bosch re-enters the fray, and you're fighting in the tournament, and all hell breaks loose, sort of thing. So along the way, like most of the Street Fighter characters are in it, especially the classic people like Chun-Li, Guile, Zangief, Dhalsim. They're all in the game. The main hub of the game is called Metro City. That's where the bulk of the questing takes place, and the other part is a kind of a third world country called Nashal, this big city that's kind of like just filled with garbage and weird shit. Those are the 2 main hubs of the game where you actually embark on your quests and gain your XP and stuff. And then you can visit all your masters in their areas. Like Ryu is in Japan, you can go visit him. But it's not a big open world level like Nashal and Metro City. It's just this one little hub where you can talk to Ryu and then go on your way, sort of thing. And I liked the mode, and I also didn't like the mode. It took a long time to play, and I felt so many times like I was stuck, and I just had to farm for XP to get that much stronger so I could go and attempt this quest because I just wasn't powerful enough. So when the game was rolling and the quests were coming and you could actually accomplish stuff, it was fun. But when you got into those sequences where you couldn't complete quests because you didn't have the right stuff or you weren't powerful enough, it got kind of annoying and so this game I was kind of hit or miss on. The other 2 modes, one was called Fighting Grounds, where you could do some training and tutorials and then just do some regular one-on-one type matches. And then Battle Hub was the other game mode, which is the one I liked the better of those other 2 modes. You can fight with people online, and there's all sorts of different match types you can do. And you can even go to, and it's presented as this big open kind of like a Palladium kind of facility where there's all these arcade machines around and they do different things. And then one section, it's like a retro machine. So you go and play and your fighting turns into like the OG Street Fighter kind of style. So that was really cool. But yeah, overall, the game was just really confusing. Sometimes you felt like you were spinning your wheels, not getting anywhere. With these open world games, which is all the rage over the last like decade or so or whatever, it's too much for me. Like when you got to go and like in Minecraft and in Fortnite, you got to go craft a weapon and then get this fucking thing and then do like, it's just give me the game. I just want to play. Just give me my character, give me a level, let me go. All this fucking around with stuff is not my style. So when I get a game like this, it's kind of like, unless it's absolutely terrible, I don't like it, but it's always, I'm kind of in the middle on these types of games because, oh yeah, there's some elements that I really, really enjoyed. And if it had been all that, it would have been an awesome game. But then it has all these other stupid parts to it that take in that open world concept, and it's just kind of annoying and stupid and a waste of time in a lot of ways. So yeah, I was like this on that game. So take that for what it is. Last up, another video game on the PS5, very closely related to Street Fighter 6. Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves. So Street Fighter 6 was released a few years ago, 2023. Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves was released last year in 2025. And you can do, it's a street fighting game, just like Street Fighter 6, only not an open world like Street Fighter 6 is. It's this similar, like same as Mortal Kombat, like there might be some cutscenes and stuff. In this one, it was all text-based, whereas Mortal Kombat, it's all like cinematic-based. But you just go from match to match, progress the story along until you complete it, sort of thing. So the main story of the game is it takes place about a year after, I'm assuming, some events of some previous Fatal Fury games, after a King of the Fighters tournament. Geese Howard, the guy that kind of rules over Southtown, is dead. His wife, Marie Heinlein, has been kidnapped by a guy named Mr. Big, who is trying to ransom her back. That's his plan, to Kane Heinlein and Rock Howard. Kane is Marie's sister, and Rock is Marie's son. So Mr. Big wants to ransom her back to those two, so in exchange for Geese's kind of fortune. So Mr. Big has had Marie kidnapped for like a long time at this point. So that's the main story of the game, but the events of the story change depending on which character you take out. So there's I want to say at least 20 characters, probably more, that you can take through the story mode. The story mode's called Episodes of Southtown, and it's broken up into 3 areas on the map. There's Central City, Second South, and then East Island. So you progress from one to the next to the other, always in the same order. And there's just a number of fights you have to take on in each map in order to fully complete it and progress the story along and gain XP along the way so that you get more powerful and gain more health. And then eventually, once you beat East Island, you complete the story journey. So like some of the characters that aren't really related to the main storyline, like a girl named Preacha, she'll have a totally different reason for going out. But you'll cross paths with all the other characters in the game, and the storyline of the person you're playing at the time will be in line with whoever paths you cross with the same storyline that they set out on when you control them in the game, right? So it's really cool. All the various types of stories they present with all the different characters as you move through the game. I completed the story mode with every character because I was like, well, why not? Let's see what everybody's story is. It took a long time, and in hindsight, it was probably a waste of time, but I wanted to get some mileage out of this game, because when I downloaded it, I thought it was like a side-scrolling beat 'em up, like a Double Dragon or something like that. I didn't think it was a street fighting game. So when I finally had it downloaded and started playing it, I was like, what? Because like, I don't love street fighting games. I like them, but I only need to play one every so often to be satisfied, right? So when I found this was, when I'd already recently played Mortal Kombat 11 and then got into Street Fighter 6, I was like, oh no, it's another street fighting game. Like, this isn't what I wanted, but I bought it, and so I got my mileage out of it, and I played through the story mode with every character. It was fun to see all their stories. And then there's some other minor modes you can play with different objectives, but it all amounts to the same thing. You're always in this one-on-one type of street fighting scenario when you're actually playing the game. It just depends on what the objectives and stipulations on everything are. And of course, it has an online mode where you can fight other people. It's got a mini game mode where you break bottles with Marco. But overall, not, unless you want to go through and play with every character, not a lot of replayability to the game. I did get it on sale because it was pretty expensive to start off, so I did wait until it dropped, and it dropped fairly early on. So I did get it for a good price, which was like, okay, well, at least I got it on sale. Because if I'd known, I liked the game, but I didn't love it. If I'd known it was just a Street Fighting game when I downloaded it, I probably wouldn't have got it. Take that for what it is. If you like Street Fighting games, you'll probably love it. But if you're not such a Street Fighting guy like myself, then if you do want to give it a try, wait till it drops in price big time, right? So, but overall, a good collection of stuff this time. I read a lot of books, a lot of really good books. I completed 2 games that took me a very long time. And yeah, moving forward, let's see what else comes across our desk, shall we? Peace! Meow.